Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner. And today my guest is Pat Rosensteel, who's the Director of the Citizen Services Division. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Jan.
So I'm happy to have you here today to talk about your career with Frederick County government.
Okay.
And just so our viewers get to know, you are about to retire from Frederick County government, and well, I'm happy for you and certainly want to wish you a great retirement. You've been a wonderful county employee, a big contributor to the quality of life in our community, and I really want to thank you for all that you have done for the citizens of Frederick County.
Well, thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure, and I've gotten to work with so many great people. You know, it's between the citizens and the staff and the volunteers on our councils and commissions. It's just been a pleasure.
So why don't you start by sharing, when you started with Frederick County government, what your first roles were and what the positions you've held have been in the county.
Okay. Well, I've really only had two regular positions. One was kind of a transitory position in between two of them, but I started in 1999 with the Head Start program when the previous director had retired. So I came in as the director of that program and had the pleasure of working with that program for 10 years and really seeing it grow and build, and the county contribution to that program just made it very special. And it was kind of a hallmark program in the state of Maryland, so that was very exciting. And then there came a time, of course, that the county was no longer funding it, and I was put into a transitional position to kind of help with the federal government bringing the program back into their fold until they could find a new grantee for it in Frederick County. And then the YMCA was a successful grantee for the program. And my boss at the time was Margaret Nussbaum, who was the director of the Citizen Services Division, and she elected to retire around that time, and so I was brought into that position. So I've been in this position now for 6 years.
Wow, I didn't think it had been 6 years. Time flies.
Flies when you're having fun.
Well, I do have to say you did an outstanding job with Head Start. I do think we had the best Head Start program with the best outcomes in the state of Maryland. And
it was great.
That is really compliments to you and to the people that worked for you and with you, and making sure that children went to school ready to learn and
absolutely
in good stead, and that really helps their long-term life outcomes. So
it does, yeah.
You made a difference to a lot of children over the course of your career, and maybe a few of them will remember you as they grow up and see you in the grocery store someplace.
That would be funny.
So, because kids remember lots of people who touched their life through their education. Yeah. Now, the the Division of Citizen Services, includes a number of departments. So, can you share just what all the functions are in the Citizen Services Division?
Okay, and I'll share a little bit too about how it's evolved. Once the Head Start program had left the division, then we also had the Transit Department, which has since become a division under your administration, which makes a lot of sense for them to be their own division. And Workforce Services was under it as well, and that moved then under Economic Development. So what we have now in our division is, of course, our administrative offices. We have the Human Relations Department, and we have the Office for Children and Families, and the Housing Department, and Housing and Community Development, and also Department of Aging, and the Scott Key Center, Child Advocacy Center, I'm still in my child care mode, and Family Partnership.
Okay. So a lot of services that affect people and provide assistance for people. Can you just take a minute and talk about the Office of Children and Families?
Sure.
A lot of people don't really know what they do.
Oh, I can understand why. You would just think, well, that's a place where you can go for particular services, but it's not necessarily the case. It was created some years ago when the state mandated that every jurisdiction have a local management board. And the local management board's duty was to take state funds and distribute them locally according to community need. And so the Office for Children and Family was created as the arm of the local management board that would, handle the operations of the LMB. So that's exactly what they do, is they assess what the needs are in the community, and they're going through one of those needs assessments right now. And then when state money comes available, then they make decisions together with the local management board about the highest needs and the needs that are the highest priority also for the governor at the time. So it's kind of a blending of needs that they assess and then determine and grant the monies in that way.
And it's a good recognition that one size doesn't fit all, that different communities have different needs, or maybe sometimes the same need, but a different proportional need.
True, yeah.
So now, so you've been with the county for about 16 years. So what would you say are some of the key highlights of your career?
Wow.
What are some of the things that you remember most?
Oh, wow, that's interesting. There are just so many, and I have to just preface by saying that anything that really happened in our division happened as a result of collaboration, one way or the other. Collaborations between myself and the director and their staff, and their clients, their commissions, boards, and councils, all these volunteers as well. So there's been a lot that's gone on. So I'll do a little bit of highlighting, but I always hate to do that because I might leave somebody out. So the Child Advocacy Center just was awarded their accreditation this year. And that's a national accreditation, and it's not that easy to get, and a lot had to be in place for that to occur. And they also just got their facility dog. It's the first time a CAC has had one in this area, so that's a pretty exciting thing for them. The housing department has gone through really helping and focusing more on sheltering needs in the community. So we've been able to establish MOUs for those services, the cold weather shelter, the family services shelter, and others, and that's been a big one too. Bringing the Community Partnerships Grant back due to your leadership.
Yeah, I appreciate.
It's been a huge one. That just so great for me to see that resurrected again, because the nonprofits really need assistance, and it's wonderful when we can put together a process for that to happen. So.
Well, when we leverage our dollars with the efforts of our human service nonprofit agencies, we get better outcomes for people, we improve people's lives, and we don't have to duplicate services. And that's always a great thing.
Yeah.
I really have to say we have a great group of human service nonprofit agencies in Frederick County who can provide a safety net to people and keep them out of government support.
Right.
And really to make sure they can be contributing and successful members of our community. So that was one of my initiatives to make sure we restored that partnership and made sure that we helped people who needed it and helped them to be productive citizens.
It's a great program, and it'll be able to really enhance that this coming year too.
Yes,
with more funds into it, so it's good.
Okay, so what is in your future?
My future is a little bit hard to decide right now. I know that I'll be taking the summer off, and I will be thinking about what I'm going to do next. I'll be working in some capacity, don't know what. I do see myself still remaining in child and family services in some way or another. You know, I might be doing some substitute teaching. I might be working with some nonprofits. It's yet to be seen. It's in my blood. I don't know how I get out of that.
Well,
you know?
Yeah, all of your work before county government and during county government has been focused on children.
Right.
And so, and education, and that is what you're good at. So,
Thank you.
and there's always a role for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, always a role for that.
It's not
so
direct service, it could be advocacy, but there'll be a place for that.
Well, I know you like to travel too.
You know that.
So I hope you'll take some time to enjoy your travel and have some fun. So because you deserve it.
Absolutely, thank you. And time for family too, with grandkids, and also that's a good thing.
Well, you've been a wonderful division director, certainly a wonderful director of Head Start, and we are really going to miss you. I don't think you're old enough to retire.
Oh, yeah.
So I find it a bit unbelievable that you're actually retiring.
Thank you. We have good genes, you and I. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I'm not planning to retire,
I
though.
know.
So,
much too young.
There you go.
There you go.
So, but I just want to take an opportunity to thank you for your service and commitment to the community. I mean, you've made a big difference in the lives of many people, and sometimes you help people one at a time.
Exactly.
And I think you've done a lot of that, and sometimes that doesn't get recognized. So I really want to say thank you for all your good work. We all consider you a great friend here in Frederick County, and we'll miss you very much, but we wish you the best.
Thank you. Well, the reward is in the work and in the people you work with, and that's been my reward.
That's right.
Thanks.
So thank you for joining us today for this edition of Community Conversations. Wish Pat Rosensteel well in her retirement, and make sure you thank her for her service to Citizen Services Division of Frederick County Government, and thank you for joining us.